5 years after its release, His House remains one of the most chilling, emotionally resonant horror films of the decade, yet it's still woefully underappreciated by the mainstream. Directed by Remy Weeks and released on Netflix in 2020, the film blends haunted house tropes with harrowing refugee trauma, crafting an experience that's as psychologically intense as it is terrifying. At its core, His House uses horror to unearth the wounds of war, loss, and displacement, and in doing so, delivers a genre-bending masterpiece that continues to fly under the radar, even with a 100% Rotten Tomatoes score. The Haunting of Survival. The story follows Bol and Rial, a married couple from South Sudan who are granted temporary asylum in the UK after fleeing war and losing their daughter during the journey. Given a dilapidated house in an unfriendly neighborhood and forced to follow strict conditions, the couple's trauma begins to manifest in paranormal ways. As ghostly apparitions emerge from the walls, it becomes clear that this haunting isn't just about a physical space. It's about memory, guilt, and the impossible cost of survival. While many haunted house films rely on jump scares and demonic forces, His House finds its horror in emotional realism. The Apith, a folkloric night witch, represents the couple's past, a spectral embodiment of the pain and people they left behind. This entity isn't simply a threat to be exorcised, it's a psychological reckoning. Matt Smith's subtle contribution. Although the film belongs to Soap Doraisu and Wunmi Mosaku, who give raw, heart-wrenching performances, Matt Smith plays a quietly essential role. As Mark, their well-meaning but emotionally detached caseworker, Smith represents a systemic coldness, the kind that believes empathy is enough without fully understanding the psychological cost of exile. His brief screen time is impactful. Smith's restrained performance walks the fine line between kindness and ignorance, revealing how institutions often reduce lived trauma into paperwork and polite concern. This isn't the flashy, manic Smith seen in Doctor Who or the chilling prince of House of the Dragon. Here, he's a man caught in the machinery of a broken system, trying to help, but ultimately unable to comprehend the depth of suffering Bol and Rial carry with them. A genre-breaking allegory. What sets His House apart is its refusal to separate horror from reality. The supernatural isn't escapism, it's a mirror. Bol and Rial's experiences aren't metaphors for grief. They are grief, rendered with terrifying literalism. Rial's acceptance of the Apith as part of her past stands in contrast to Bol's desperate efforts to assimilate into English culture and bury the pain. This internal conflict provides the film with its thematic richness and culminates in a final act that's both horrifying and heartbreakingly cathartic. The real horror isn't the ghost in the house, it's the memory of what it took to survive and the impossibility of returning to what once was. The Apith is not simply a monster, but a debt collector. As Rial chillingly tells Bol, "Your ghosts follow you. They never leave. They live with you." Still ahead of its time. While His House received critical acclaim, it was largely ignored by audiences in favor of more mainstream horror releases. Perhaps its heavy subject matter was too much for viewers expecting a typical ghost story. Or maybe its lack of theatrical release hindered its reach. Either way, it remains a gem that challenges the genre's boundaries and reshapes what horror can be. In a landscape filled with formulaic scares, His House is both socially conscious and emotionally devastating. It forces us to face uncomfortable truths about immigration, systemic apathy, and the price of forced survival, all while delivering unforgettable scares. Its continued obscurity is a disservice to the genre and to the talent involved, including Matt Smith, whose role may be small but is undeniably potent. Where to watch? His House is currently streaming on Netflix. For fans of horror that dares to be meaningful, and for anyone who appreciates when a film terrifies your heart as much as your senses, it remains one of the most essential watches of the